Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to all the royals. Good morning to the kings and queens of the land. Good morning. Good morning to all ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning to the liberated zone of KZN, KwaZulu-Natal, the liberated zone of South Africa. Good morning to KZN. Good morning to the Lion of Faso, Ibrahim Traore. Good morning to the Lion of Niger, Abdullah Haman Dian. Good morning to the Lion of Mali, Assem Goita. Good morning to the Lion of South Africa, President Jacob Kelehlekisa Zuma. My name is Mngoni Mkonto. This is the Royal Opinion. You can click the like button and subscribe to support the Royal Opinion. Today we're talking about very important and very tricky issue that a lot of people don't realize, or a lot of people are not aware. The influence which media has over people, the influence which television has over people, the power of propaganda. I want to talk about Hlaudi Motsoeneng. Hlaudi Motsoeneng, former CEO of the SABC, who was ordered by the High Court to pay back 11.5 million in bonuses, which he got when he was working as CEO of SABC. Hlaudi Motsoeneng. The board of the SABC sitting and deciding to pay Hlaudi Motsoeneng 11 million for his work that he did with multi-choice. I want to talk about how multi-choice have used Hlaudi Motsoeneng to remove President Zuma through a very massive campaign, propaganda campaign led by the SABC. I want to talk about how did it happen? How was Hlaudi Motsoeneng used by MultiChoice to sabotage President Jacob Zuma, and how Hlaudi Motsoeneng was damned by his friends, immediately started acting against them. Let me share this. Let me first share this video. I want to first share, and then we will dissect.
An urgent meeting right now. This is extremely urgent and extremely important to have a discussion on. I am telling you, we need to be worried. And I mean it with everything in me. There is something going on behind the scenes in the media realm. A lot of people, unfortunately, don't see the value in media and specifically soft power. The Western world understand that perfectly. Like if we want to do something about soft power and we need to copy anyone, let me tell you something. There's a blueprint right there. Western world, specifically Hollywood, they got it. They just got it to a T. They know exactly what they're doing when it comes to media, how they influence people, how they use their resources when it comes to that, okay? Western world in general, they're really good. America being the superpower in that, I will give America the gold medal for that. But then now even China is catching up. They're realizing that soft power is where it's at. And we'll talk about it a little bit more in detail, but what I want to talk about at the moment is about a French billionaire trying to buy MultiChoice in a hostile takeover. MultiChoice, also known as DSTV, as Africans, most of us know what DSTV is, but for those of us who don't know what MultiChoice is, MultiChoice Group is a South African-based video entertainment company focused on providing video entertainment to various devices and subscribing households in South Africa and across sub-Saharan Africa. Like a lot of households, well, okay, a lot of is a stretch because it's a bit expensive. Not a lot of African households have it, but those that can afford it have it, okay? That's important to throw out there. Not everyone has access to DSTV. But the thing is, they bring into the market a lower priced, a lower version with less access to the channels. They are there, and they're also part of MultiChoice. So there's that as well, okay? I want you to pay attention to what MultiChoice is, right? It's an entertainment company focused on providing video entertainment to Africans. Basically, it's based in South Africa. Now we are hearing that the French billionaire Vincent Bolloré is trying to buy MultiChoice, basically a hostile takeover. Let me show you this clip. We'll come back and discuss.
And the aforementioned Vincent Bolloré, the billionaire media magnate. Bolloré has a reputation. He's a skilled corporate raider with a well-established strategy. Acquire a small stake at a news organization, slowly build up his shares at said organization, stage a hostile takeover, then lay off a bunch of staff and pivot the outlet editorially to the right, even to the far right. They call it the Bolloré system. And some of his most significant media holdings are outside France, in Africa. His satellite TV company, Canal+, dominates the West and Central African markets. Bolloré is now in the process of taking over a satellite TV company based in Johannesburg, MultiChoice, which has customers across sub-Saharan Africa. Should that deal go through, it would grant a monopoly to one man with the power to determine what kind of content gets broadcast across an entire continent. The Listening Post's Nick Muirhead now on what could be the biggest media deal in African history.
French billionaire Vincent Bolloré owns dozens of news outlets and is one of the biggest media moguls in France. He is what you might call a newsman, but speak to some French journalists who used to work for him, like Jean-Baptiste Livoire, and they will tell you that Bolloré is no friend of the media.
He's not someone who likes the news. He's someone who uses the influence of the media for his business. He has a very precise editorial line. After he takes over an outlet, the majority of the editorial staff often go on strike and protest. People end up leaving, and then they hire journalists who are willing to obey.
When I say we should be worried, this is why. The reason why this man, this billionaire, is buying into or buying this company is because he wants the attention of Africans, the eyes, the hearts of Africans. It's all about influence. We should understand how powerful media can be. And when these people are investing billions, millions of dollars in media, it's not because they want to entertain us and want us to watch these shows that will make us laugh and forget about the life that we are living. It's not because they care about our entertainment. That's what I need us to understand. It is about buying our attention, getting our attention, and influencing us, especially the young, especially those that are impressionable. They want to tap into that market. They want to tell us what they want us to know. They want to program us. That's why they're buying into media. That's why they want to invest in multi-choice, so that they have the eyes of Africans. I think it's extremely important for us to have this discussion because, fam, soft power is real. And
Soft power is real. Soft power is real. I think she made a very nice investigation there. Hlaudi Motsoeneng was used by Kosberger, the owner of Naspers, the owner of MultiChoice. Sorry. He was used to establish a propaganda news station in the SABC, which is not owned by the public broadcaster. Channel 404 is not owned by the public, it's owned by MultiChoice. It's fully funded by MultiChoice. Hlaudi Motsoeneng was appointed by white people, was actually recommended by white people in the SABC because they wanted to use him. He did not have metric, so they wanted to use him to take over the public broadcaster when they appointed Hlaudi Motsoeneng. And indeed, MultiChoice proposed to Hlaudi Motsoeneng to create a propaganda media station, which is 404, that TV 404, the news station of SABC, channel 404. Hlaudi Motsoeneng came up with that channel. Actually, MultiChoice came up with that channel and proposed it to Hlaudi Motsoeneng because they wanted to take over the propaganda in order to remove President Zuma, because President Zuma was having some control, or the government was having some level of control in the SABC. The Bolloré system. The guy who owns the media, half of the media in Europe, and he owns half of the media in the West Africa. He's a French billionaire. He wants to take over MultiChoice. The influence of media in our life is massive. It's soft power. It's not even an influence, it's actually programming. They program us the way they want to. They want us to view things. They program us. They create characters that comes to commentate on TV in the name of professors, while they are not even professors, like Tulima Donsela. Most of the people don't know that Tulima Donsela is not a real professor. It's a bogus professor given by white people in order to enhance her image so that she can be respected in order to push the propaganda against black people. So MultiChoice wanted access to the public broadcaster because the public broadcaster have got a lot of people. It has got a lot of black people. So MultiChoice or Kosbega, the owner of all our media station, News 24, Sowetan Citizens, all of these media covering houses owned by almost one person. So he wanted to have a control of the SABC. So they fully funded SABC. Hlaudi Motsoeneng was able to rise the SABC income from 4 billion to 8 billion, double the amount by going and getting that deal with MultiChoice. MultiChoice establishing 404 under SABC, under their public broadcaster, pretending like the SABC has expanded, while it's not SABC or the public broadcaster that is expanded. It's actually MultiChoice and the white-owned media that wants to push propaganda against President Zuma. And indeed, they actually went and pushed the propaganda on 404 against President Zuma, very successful. In South Africa, history is normally recorded incorrectly. The influence of people is normally reported incorrectly. How people collaborated with the apartheid system without knowing. Hlaudi Motsoeneng is a genuine black person who wanted to lead black people into the right direction. White people had a plan behind his back without him knowing that they wanted to use him to take over the SABC and the propaganda machine in the SABC. 404 is fully funded by MultiChoice, is put under SABC in order to pretend like this is a public broadcaster to win the attention of the public. But it was meant for pushing the propaganda in order to remove President Zuma, using the SABC to push the propaganda to remove President Zuma. I want to share something else, or actually, I want us to continue to listen to this lady, and then I'll share something else.
And the influence media has on us, our brains, our hearts, our psychology is just too great to ignore. We cannot ignore it, fam. This man, let me tell you something, if this hasn't convinced you yet that this is not a good idea, especially for us Africans, this man, this billionaire, has pleaded guilty to corruption charges in France. You might ask, why? Why was he charged for that? The reason for the corruption charge is that he was interfering in elections, guess where? In Togo and Guinea. And he's pleaded guilty, okay? This is not just an accusation against this French billionaire. It is something that has been proven because he admitted to guilt. In Africa, 2 African countries, he was involved, he was interfering.
Pleading guilty for being involved in vote rigging in 2 African countries. The Bulgaria media system. The Bulgaria, they call it the Bulgaria system. He comes and takes over. He removed the editorial. He put his stooges in place, and he pushed the propaganda. Found guilty of influencing election, of not necessarily influencing election, pleaded guilty, was not even found guilty. He was charged, but he pleaded guilty of rigging election in 2 African countries. So you would understand who is involved in rigging of the election in South Africa. The people who are involved in rigging of election in South Africa, the people who were involved in rigging the election that happened, where MK Party was robbed during the election. These are the type of characters that are. Click the like button and subscribe. My name is Ngoni Mkonto. This is the Royal Opinion. I want to continue sharing this video because there's still something else that I want to talk about in this video.
In their election. So this man, I mean, look at his track record. So knowing what we know about him and him and choice is alarming. Is alarming, fam. And earlier I told you we'll talk about China as well. As I said, the Western world has perfected soft power. They have controlled us. Like growing up, you've watched their movies, you've listened to their music, you've heard their news, the mainstream media. So in a way, all of us, there's a lot of unlearning that we need to do because there's so much we've consumed from them, and now it's only getting worse, right? So there's a damage that has already been done. They're continuing to damage the brains and minds of our youth, right? And now, to make it worse, even the African entertainment companies and channels that we have are going to be owned by a French billionaire. So the West, let's just say, they're doing well with what they're trying to do. Like, if you look at it from their perspective and their point of view, their goal is being met. But here's where China comes in, because now the East is also learning. Unfortunately, it's just Africans that are not learning right now, and it will change. I believe in our people.
As Africans, we should start to understand and learn the influence that media has on us, that the media has on people. There was a drama called Yizo Yizo. The drama happened some years ago. A violent drama which they said it was based on reality. And it was said to be the best drama that happened in the SABC. Anything that they say is the best, you need to know that it's actually for distraction of the black population. If they say the constitution is the best, you need to know it's because it's destroying black people. So if they say best, they mean in fighting against black people. That's what it means. So the drama actually influenced people at the end of the day, after the drama played, when the drama was finished on television or playing on television, it started playing in our locations, in our environment. People started to behave like Yuzo people in around, in even in villages where it never existed. The lifestyle which was lived in um, townships and in jails uh, in South Africa, which was not known by black people in villages, was broadcast into SABC as the best drama, and every township and every village had their own Izo gang because of the influence that media has on people. So Vincent Bulgari taking over multi-choice, knowing how to rig elections and how to influence power using the media. So Hlaudi Motsoeneng was hired in the SABC and recommended by white people because they thought he was stupid enough for him to be used just like that and be given money. Because he did not take any corruption money, they had to give him the bonus in order to actually trap him in a case where he does something against them. Nkosi Ngiphile Mkhize says, very true. Our media, just like our education system, yakhe ukubulala indlu emnyama. Yeah, it was built to destroy the black people. Media was built to destroy black people. Dramas. How do we found South Africa? A lot of people don't realize, how do we find more young people on alcohol? How do we find more young women on prostitution? It's because of the entertainment industry, which is controlled by white people, uh, which makes people think it's cool to go around, sleeping around, drinking alcohol, uh, taking drugs, making that kind of life a life, the mainstream life. Because they create the events, they're the ones who are directing the events, they're the ones who are directing the music. Because for a song to play on their TV, they have to approve it. So they are the ones who are even creating the culture. They're the ones who are creating what should entertain us or what should not entertain us. So Hlaudi Motsoeneng, what made him to fall out of grace with white people, it's when he started to the 90% issue, which was beneficial to black people. Hlaudi Motsoeneng said um, the SABC should play local content 90% of the time, meaning 90% of the time they should be promoting local music. That's when he fell out of grace. He fell out of grace with white people, with Stellenbosch mafia. Because Hlaudi did not realize that it's not because of his cleverness that the SABC was able to earn so much money during his tenure. It was because of the deal that MultiChoice wanted to take over the SABC. Vincent Blugary wanted to take over the SABC for the sake of robbing election, for the sake of removing President Zuma, for preparation of the future, so that they can rob elections like they have done now, and they can push their propaganda on the SABC. The public thinking this is a public broadcaster while it's actually a private broadcaster and a wide monopoly capital broadcaster. So Hlaudi Motsoeneng thought it was out of his intelligence. He actually had he calls it the gentleman's agreement. Let me just share the interview because I saw this interview on King David Studio. Let me share this interview where Hlaudi Motsoeneng is actually talking about these issues that I'm.
Let us use our own ideas. Let us be creative. And we did achieve that. So I'm very proud. When I left, they were given 3 billion. What happened with 3.2 billion? Gone. Now, as we are speaking in 2022, 2023, from 8 billion that I generated and grow the company, they are sitting around 4 billion. I mean, it's shocking. Because I believe that, people who are good like us, we create many enemies to destroy us. Worse if you don't have metric. Because they are thinking, how can this man achieve all these miracles? And I achieve those miracles because I trust myself, I believe in myself.
I want to talk about the success fee. Which is what you're dealing with right now.
Yes,
That's what
yes.
you're saying. What is a success fee? Explain that to all of us.
What is very interesting about this matter? I'm the creator of Channel 404.
Okay.
Those people who are working in that channel, when they see when they see that channel, when they work there, they must know the creator of that channel is Hlaudi Motsoeneng. Okay. Those are my ideas.
The news channel.
The news channel, 24-hour news channel. It is my idea alone. I'm very proud about it. And why I'm proud is because I have been able to create employment for those workers who are working there. And those workers that SABC is still employing them. It is this man who came with that idea. And remember, David, that channel is not regulated. Okay. That channel doesn't have any mandate.
What do you mean
from
by
Broadcasting Act?
Okay.
It is not legislated. So, when I came with the channel
is not legislated. The channel does not have a mandate from the public broadcaster. The channel is not legislated. Hlaudi Motsoeneng came to a gentleman's agreement with MultiChoice. Kosberger, the president of the Stellenbosch mafia. Sorry. Hlaudi Motsoeneng coming to an agreement with white people to allow them to use the SABC to create a propaganda media station which would further remove President Zuma from power by creating confusion and media propaganda against black people. History should be corrected and history should be recorded correctly. One of the most important job we do here is to record history in a correct way. Nkosi Ngiphile uthi, I think as black people we are surrendering this country to a few white elites. We are not united. Even the music industry is not showing any support towards Hlaudi. The music industry is controlled, the artist is controlled by the Stellenbosch mafia, by the international mafia, the Bulnare system that they are talking about here. Hlaudi Motsoeneng, when he wanted to lead as a black leader, because that's what he thought he was, he did not think that he was actually used by multi-choice in order to take over SABC and create propaganda and control black people. He did not realize that the channel was not legislated. It was not even part of his mandate. But Hlaudi Motsoeneng was protected by white people, and they even gave him a bonus. I'll continue to share here. They gave him a bonus of 11.5 million in the SABC because he did not take bribe. So they wanted something to hold on to him should he turn against them. They gave him the 11 million. The board went and sat and decided to give him 11 million, which they were going to use against him at a later stage like now. His case was just thrown out of technicalities. He was not even the appeal that he took to the Supreme Court of Appeal and to the Constitutional Court. Both instances, it was just thrown out on technicalities, law technicalities. The main issue of his case was never discussed. Because now, Hlaudi Motsoeneng was thinking that he was the one who was clever to be able to make SABC to earn more money, while he was actually being used by the mafias, by the Stellenbosch mafia to take over SABC. He thought he was the one growing SABC, while the Stellenbosch mafia was actually growing their wings or their control over us. Tina Zondi says, there's nothing hidden that cannot be exposed when the time is right, especially when it is fraud and corruption. All the lies will soon be discovered. Every lie, it will be exposed. Every lie will be exposed. So they gave him 11 million. And then when Hlaudi Motsoeneng started to say 90% of local content, which was actually going to empower black people and black artists, which was actually going to change the life of black artists in South Africa, That's when Stellenbosch turned against him. That's when they decided to even take the 11 million that they gave him at the SABC as performance bonus while he was still under their control, without him knowing that he was actually under the control of the Stellenbosch mafia. Hlaudi Motsoeneng being given 11.5 million. He's recently been told that he should pay back the money to the SABC. It was not part of the decision that they make to pay him the money. The board decided to set and pay him bonuses for helping SABC to rise from 4 billion to 8 billion income during his tenure. So it was multi-choice giving him the money, thanking him indirectly for allowing them to take over the SABC, because now they have control over black people. They will be able to create their propaganda. They control the station, but people think that President Zuma or the government control SABC, while SABC is controlled by other people who are outsiders. White people do influence our elections here because they've got massive investments. They're taking lots of resources from us, which gives them a lot of money in their instability in their homes. They have to influence the election as much as they can. Let's go on to listen a little bit again to Mr. Hlaudi Motsoeneng, who think he's actually a very brilliant somebody to have come with that. No, he's not. It's not because he's a brilliant. Not to discount him. I'm not even saying he's not clever or anything. I'm just saying in this case, he was just used without him realizing that he's being used.
We tried to talk to Treasury. They refused to fund that channel.
Okay.
Because they said, no, how can we fund the channel that is not regulated? So that channel is gentleman agreement between myself, SABC, and multi-choice. But it is the channel that I came with. That channel, I raise money for that channel. More than 800 million I raised for that channel.
From who? When you say you raised it, where was the money coming from?
From multi-choice.
Okay.
100%. That channel, the funding come from multi-choice.
Yeah.
SABC is not paying any cent about that channel. And that channel, you don't have mandate like SABC 1, 2, 3, because it is a gentleman agreement channel, which I came with to generate revenue for the SABC. But how can the creator suffer now? When the SABC, I was not there. The minutes of the governance committee.
Exactly, the gentleman's agreement. The gentleman's agreement between Hlaudi Motsoeneng and multi-choice. Multi-choice management had an influence in the appointment of Hlaudi Motsoeneng. A lot of people think it was an appointment of President Zuma. It was not an appointment of President Zuma. It was an appointment of white people because they saw an opportunity that Hlaudi Motsoeneng was bold, but stupid enough that they can be able to control him because he does not have metric. So they will be able to control him in the SABC when they raise him to power, and of which they did. They controlled him and created 404. He thinks uh, he can raise 800 million on his own, which is totally impossible for him to do. The money was given to him by multi-choice, not because of his convincing powers or clever what. They actually proposed to him that they wanted to create a channel which is outside the mandate of SABC, which is a gentleman's agreement between the SABC and MultiChoice to give MultiChoice a platform of propaganda in the SABC so that black people can be programmed the way they want, the white people want. The problem when he fell out of grace with white people, Hlaudi Motsoeneng, is when he decided, he thought he was the one with the power, and he thought he was the one with all this intelligence, and decided now to say that 90% should be implemented. That's what they love about him, because he implements. That's what they liked about him. That's why they selected him, because he can implement. So he implemented the 90% content in SABC. That's when he fell out of grace with white people, and they went after him to even take the bonus that they gave him previously for giving them a deal at the SABC. So Hlaudi Motsoeneng was used by white people to remove President Zuma from power using the propaganda media through the multi-choice owned station of 404. Many people don't know that President Zuma was honored by a university. He's a doctor. I think President Zuma was honored by about 3 universities, different universities outside South Africa, by a doctorate. But no media has ever referred to President Zuma as a doctor, because they reserve that for the people who comes into media as representing white people, campaigning or being used on behalf of white people. Like Tulima Donsela, who was given the professorship, she did not do, Tulima Donsela did not do honors degree, and she did not do the doctorate that you're supposed to do before you become a professor. She was given a professorship. Even when they honor you, they don't honor you with professorship. You are honored as a doctor, not as a professor. There's never been anyone who was honored as a professor. But Tulima Donsela was given a professorship. So the media has got a very huge influence in our lives, and that's what they are using to destroy black people, to create prostitutes out of black children, black girls, to create drunkards out of black boys. It's the media, is the entertainment industry, which is used against black people. Black people paying for their destruction. DSTV is now found in every shack, in all the informal settlements. The dish is there. It does not matter how poor you are in an informal settlement, as long as you are a black person, you should have the dish. When white people realized the influence of media on people, they decided that the television set will be in every home. So MultiChoice have decided that the dish will be in every black house, because they want to influence the direction in which black people will take. They want to influence how they view politics. They want to influence their culture, how they entertain themselves, how black people do serious business. They want to influence all of those. They influence all of those. Let me not say they want to, as if they are not controlling. If I say influencing, I'm talking mildly. They control. They control us. They control when to make a party. They control us what to drink in those parties. They just control our lives. They control on what issues to get involved on. Young people now only involved in mapiano. Every young person is dancing. When you see young people on the road, everybody is just dancing. A terrible kind of attitude, because they want to take all young people out of politics so that they continue looting the resources, the African resources, South African resources that they are enjoying at the moment. 70% of the world's platinum is found in Limpopo. All elements needed to create a nuclear bombs can be found in South Africa. In South Africa, we've got an extraterrestrial substance called iridium, which is found in Delmas in Mpumalanga. Extraterrestrial, we mean it's a material which is not made by anything found in planet Earth. It's a material which is teleported from other planets. Iridium is the most expensive element in the planet. 1 ton of material is about $45 billion. 1 ton of material of iridium is about $45 billion. How much is $45 billion in South African rands? Those who know how to calculate can tell us in the comments. Click the like button and subscribe. My name is Mngoni Mkhonto. This is the Royal Opinion. Today, talking about how Hlaudi Motsoeneng was used against black people and against President Zuma, re-recording the history the way it happened, to reflect the truth of what actually happened about Hlaudi Motsoeneng and the SABC. Click the like button and subscribe. I just pray that our God Almighty must open the blinded people to see and hear the whole truth about what conspired concerning Jacob Zuma presidential, and stop listening to the propaganda. That's what we wish for. We wish black people can one day realize that whatever you are watching in the SABC has got nothing to do with the truth. Whatever you are watching at 404 has got nothing to do with the truth. It has everything to do with influencing you to get away from the need to fight for your resources. While you are dancing mapiano, while our children are dancing mapiano, white people are tracking. They're tracking out minerals. Trucks are full of golds. Gold going out of the country. Trucks are full going out of platinum going out of the country. White people are planting in our land, producing food that they sell to Europe, while we are dancing mapiano. Who makes us to dance? Who influences us to become dancers? Who has influenced black people to become dancers for white people? Why do we have more black women becoming prostitutes? Why do we have more black girls being soft towards aggressive kind of life? Life that destroys South African women. Why do we have boys raping girls? We were not born like that. It was not happening before. It started happening when we were influenced by outsiders through the media. Let history be correctly recorded that President Zuma was removed, and President Zuma had nothing to do with the employment of Hlaudi Motsoeneng at the SABC, and that Hlaudi Motsoeneng was used by MultiChoice to take over the public broadcaster propaganda machines. that the Bulnare system is implemented in South Africa, that these elections that were robbed comes from the planning that white people had from that time to take over the SABC in the name of expanding the SABC, while it's actually multi-choice expanding itself into the lives of black people. They don't mind funding it fully. Because they know the influence it has on black people. The political analysts that you see at the SABC, the professors that you see, those are paid up characters. Those are public relations officers of these politicians who goes there to pretend like they are independent analysts, but actually campaigning for the people who are paying them in those platforms. When you see them interviewing a political party which is an opponent like the MK party, they are not interviewing the party so that it can clarify the public anything. They are interviewing the party so that they can gather intelligence information on what's next, how to act next. They're just trying to gather information on how they are going to act against you uh, uh, on your next move. People should understand. People should understand. Black people should understand. Black people should understand. Let history be recorded correctly. Let it be recorded correctly. Let it be recorded correctly. Let me share this because there's something else I wanted to talk about on this video.
But the Chinese now are learning too. Guess what they're doing? They are building a satellite infrastructure in Africa. Actually, China pledged to African countries that they are going to provide over 10,000 remote villages in 23 African countries with digital TV access. And by the way, they are almost done with them. They, I think, have already finished 9,600 villages. Like, they've already set up that infrastructure to give African countries, the remote cities, with digital TV access. You sit down and think, wow, that's so kind of them. Like, they're so nice. Oh my goodness. But what comes with that? With them giving you that infrastructure, one, you're consuming their content. Two, you're learning their values and principles in life. You are basically a Chinese culturally because you're going to learn what their people learn. That is on a positive note, okay? If you're looking at it in a positive light, where they're going to give Africans what they'll give their own people, if you look at it from a positive light. But I highly doubt that everything that we are going to be consuming, or these things that they are providing, this village in Africa, is going to be the exact same thing as what the Chinese government or what this company provide their own people. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt we're gonna get the same thing. But even if we get the same channels and the same entertainment videos that they give their people, it's still gonna end up being, what are you learning from that? To be a Chinese, basically, to like what they like, to do what they do, to follow up on their politics, learn their language. What is this? This is soft power, fam. This is exactly the plan. The plan is for Africans, impressionable youth, to learn from them and think that their way is better than our way and be puppets of these powerful nations. I hope our governments are going to regulate what these foreign companies or governments are providing our people.
China wants to, has already, they don't want to. China has already provided satellite television to more than 9,000 houses in African countries, remote African countries. Elon Musk wants to provide internet to remote areas across the world. He's already sent more than 1,000 satellites that are orbiting planet Earth in order to influence our attention. President Zuma President Ramaphosa went to meet Elon Musk now because they wanted to discuss the deal. They were supposed to BEE deal. BEE laws in South Africa says any company coming from outside to invest in South Africa, it should give BEE shares to previously disadvantaged individuals. Elon Musk wants to provide internet and cars in South Africa, but he does not want to give the BEE. So President Ramaphosa went to discuss with Elon Musk to exclude him from the BEE deal so that Elon Musk be given access to provide Wi-Fi in South Africa, to provide internet in South Africa. The war going on now, the war going on in Ukraine now, between Ukraine and Russia, which is actually between America and Russia. It's about the influence, providing of internet to the planet. It's about provision of the internet service to everybody in the planet. The companies are fighting to be the ones who are providing the internet. And the reason they are fighting is clear. It's because your attention is gold. Your attention, how you are directed daily, if they are able to direct your ways on daily basis, then they will be able to take your resources without you rising against them. That's what they want. The main thing is to take your resources, is to take your land, is to alienate you as a black person. So today I came out to the world to record the history and set the record straight that President Zuma did not have an influence on the appointment of Hlaudi Motsoeneng, and that Hlaudi Motsoeneng was used by the Stellenbosch mafia to create their propaganda in the SABC so that they can have access to black people. So they've taken over the SABC. This 404 is the same one which was used to remove President Zuma. Is the same one which was used to decampaign President Zuma as a public broadcaster, pretending to be a public broadcaster, while we know it's actually many people don't know, because these are information which is hidden. It's not for public consumption. You can only hear, or you can only pick up this information if you are a curious person who likes investigating, checking the truth and realities of what is happening. Black people should wake up and rise. And leave white people with their TVs. Let us not allow them to control us. Let us not allow ourselves to become their robots. Hlaudi Motsoeneng now has to pay back 11 million, which he did not decide. He was not part of the decision makers when they gave him the money. When they give you 11 million, you cannot refuse it. You cannot say, I don't want it. If people sit down and decide that you deserve this money, you feel proud. You cannot say no. Now, when he started the 90% issue, empowering black people indeed, they went for him, and they went for him to remove him at the SABC and expose him that he was not even educated, that he was stupid, that he couldn't even. They made him, initially, he was a leader, a very influential leader. The next thing, they created a crazy kind of character about him in the media. Hlaudi Motsoeneng is now viewed as somebody who is a little crazy because of the influence of the media. Hlaudi Motsoeneng being sober and being okay, though he does not have the metric, and he has never hidden that fact that he did not have metric. They appointed him as CEO because white people wanted somebody whom they can control, who does not know anything, to put in place there, who cannot oppose them. When they talk technical issues, he's not going to be able to hear what they are saying. So today he has to pay the money back. He's fallen out of grace because they have used him and they are done with him. There are other black brothers who are being used at the moment against black people. They should learn from Hlaudi Motsoeneng that when white people are done using you, they go for you. They go for distraction. They go for distraction. Let everybody who's got ears to hear what I'm saying. Because it's not everybody who's got ears who can hear. And it's not everybody who's got eyes who can see. So let all those who have the ears to listen, let all those who have the eyes to see, let them see. Let all those who have the brain to think, let them think. It's not everybody who's got a brain who can use it. Some don't know how to use it. In actual fact, most of us use less of it every time because we are influenced by the media. And when you are influenced by the media, you don't use your brain, you use the political analyst views. Reginald Mbata says, what about those hired so-called political analysts that always are attacking Zuma when a given stage, especially on SABC? The political analyst, anybody whom they call the political analyst on SABC, no, they are not political analysts. You should know that. They are public relations officers. Their job is to enhance images of politicians. Everybody whom they say is a political analyst at SABC or e-news channel, it's not a political analyst. That's why that political analyst, you will hear them always campaigning for a particular person. Always they are talking positive about a particular person, not the truth. They're not going to be talking the truth. They are going to be talking about the people that are paying them. They are called image enhancers and they are paid handsome amounts of money. That industry is paying highly. Those are influencers. In today's language, we can call them influencers. Political analyst without understanding any politics, bought out characters, paid up characters. How propaganda works, they tell you half the truth. They tell you a little bit of truth so that you can trust them and tell you 90% of lies. Twist things in order to cause confusion in your head. Celebrate the people you are not supposed to celebrate, and don't celebrate the people you are supposed to celebrate. Making life upside down is the influence of the media. Click the like button and subscribe. I forget to ask for super thanks. Please give me a super thanks if you think what I'm talking makes sense and you have the money. Give it to me. Don't be afraid to give me. No problem. I'll enjoy it. I'll actually reinvest it back into making this channel better so that we can defeat the SABC and the ENCA of this world, which is meant to influence our people in the wrong direction. This channel is meant to influence Black people in the right direction and to ensure that Black people's eyes are open from the propaganda that the SABC and any other media station is pushing against Black people. So, Black people, you do have the power. We can, if we are united, we can be able to. One thing is Black people, I don't know what to do to unite Black people. President Zuma is trying his best to unite Black people. But Black people are the ones who, let me tell you, the truth is, economy is the people. Economy is not the minds. Economy is not the malls. Economy is not the money. Economy is the people. And we've got a lot of people, meaning our economy is high. Human resources are the most important resources in the planet because these are the resources that consumes all other resources. These are the resources that gives value to any other resource that exists in the planet. Human resource. Black people have the numbers in South Africa. If we can sit and agree that let's not go and work in their kitchen on Monday. Let's not go and buy on in their shops just for a day. They can collapse. But because Black people have been divided and have been taught division and self hate, difficult to get Black people to unite about anything. About anything. We must honor and respect the courage that President Zuma has to try and unite the Black nation. Thank you, everybody, for joining the live session. We're going to end it here. Remember to click the like button and subscribe.